Hello and welcome back to a new video. My name is Bianca from Lucky Crafting Art and I'm very happy that you're here again because today we have one of my favorite topics in the junk journal universe, tape. And in my opinion, tape hasn't gotten the love it deserved, so I want to change that today. That's why I want to present you 4 hacks and a few tips and tricks how to use your tape in the end. We'll start with number 1, the vintage tape or the washi tape. And these are the results we want to have by the end of the video. Next, we have the texture tape. That is this result right here. And then we have the acetate substitute or the laminating substitute. And this is something like this right here. And the secret or the trick with this is how we can do it without the air bubbles. And I'll show you that. And then last but not least, the image transfer. That is something like this right here. So how we can transfer a picture onto the tape. And then we have the tips and tricks. Then first we have the page tabs. After that we have the flip pages, and that's where I'll show you a tutorial as well. And then the window. And what that all means, we'll see during the video. I'll explain that all to you. And then we have a bonus. That is how we can storage the tapes we'll craft in this video. So without further ado, let's get started. So as I said, we'll start with the vintage tape first. And here we have the option. And first we'll have a look at this variant down here. So all we need for this is a piece of tape, and we'll put it onto the baking paper because this is the base I use. Because everything you stick on there, you can pull off easily again. And we also need these alcohol markers. I bought them from Action in a pack by 4, and I wanted to have these vintage colors. They're also available in, I think, purple or blue tones, but I wanted to stick with the vintage kind of type or look. And the yellow one right here, the lemon yellow, well, it doesn't focus. The lemon yellow always falls a bit short for me. I don't use that as much as I use them. So I'll put that to the side. And here I like the tan skin the most. I don't like this one as much as I like them because this is almost a bit too dark for me. I'll show you the different colors after the tutorial. So I'll use this one for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the brush side because the marker has 2 sides. First the brush, and then the fine side, and I'll use the brush one. And what we're going to do is we'll just paint the whole tape. And that's basically just it. And it doesn't take long to dry either, so once you've painted the whole thing, you can wait a few seconds and then just pull it off. And that is the result. I'll put it on a white paper. 1 second to focus. I put it on a white paper so you can see it a bit better. All right, so I put it on this card because now I can rip it off easily and it doesn't get destroyed. But yeah, you can now see the tape and the vintage look. And now I'll show you the different colors compared to each other. Here we have them. So the left one is the middle color, in the middle we have the lightest color and to the right we have the darkest one. And here you can maybe see what I mean. The dark one is a bit too dark for me. And I think the brightest one has the most vintage touch to it. But yeah, this is the first method, how we age tape and how we get this cool vintage look. All you need are these markers and a tape. So now let's have a look at the second option. This is the alternative for when you don't have these alcohol markers. And all we need for that is the sandwich paper. In German it's called, like when I translated, butter bread paper. I don't know if you know this kind of paper by this name, but Google said it's called sandwich paper. So I hope you all know what I mean. And the thing with this method is that we'll again stick the tape. 1 second, my focus. We stick the tape onto the paper. And now the thing is that we cut around it. We don't rip or pull it off, we cut around it. And because of that, the tape loses its function to stick to something. So after that, you have to use glue to stick the tape onto your page. So now I'll just use my scissor and cut around it. So now we have this strip of tape left. So you can see the top, you know, has this shiny touch to it because of the tape. And here it doesn't have the shiny touch because of the paper. And you could, of course, only cut off the stripes from this paper and just use them, but we want this tape look, and the tape look comes with the shiny effect. So that's why I put the tape onto the paper and then just cut around it. But yes, as I said, now you have to use glue to put it down or to stick it down. But yeah, this is a great way when you don't have the alcohol markers and still want this vintage kind of look to your tape. So now let's have a look at the last option, at this one right here. And I've done that with an old book page. And this is also the method how you can do other kind of washi tape variants or options. So I chose this book right here. And this is kind of an old book. So the pages are kind of structured or porose. Is it called porose? I think it's called porose. And that makes it easy to rip the tape off without destroying the whole page. Because when you use this normal paper, you almost every time rip off everything. And you'll see what I mean in a second. Here you only rip off, here you can see it, the first layer. And that makes it easier to get these cool vintage effects. So again, what we need is a tape, and we'll just put it on here, and then I'll press it down a bit so that it sticks. And after that, I'll just pull it off. And you can see it's very easy and it doesn't destroy the whole paper. And that's it. That is how we get these cool book writing effects onto our tape. And again, you can't stick it down without the glue. You have to use glue as well with this method. But this is also the way, as I said, how you do the normal washi tape. So you can use everything you want, from magazine pages to, I don't know, children's books or background papers, whatever you want, and you just put the tape on it and then rip it off or cut around it. What works better for you? I don't know how the structure of the paper is or whatever. Sometimes when you rip it off, nothing comes off with it, or everything comes off with it, so that you just have to try it. And yeah, as I said, when it doesn't work with the rip out method, just cut around it and you then use glue after that. But yeah, these are my 3 methods, my 3 hacks, how you can age your tape. Now we'll have a look at the second hack, the texture tape. And here we have a look how we can get this imprint, this floral imprint, onto the tape. And everything we need for that is lace, lots and lots of lace. And you already had a few of these laces in front of your lens when I did the storage video and how I keep my materials organized. And now here you have a better look at the lace. And what I use kind of this stiff lace. There's also this, what's it called, flabby or wobbly kind of lace. And I figured out that this kind of lace isn't as good as this one for getting your imprint onto the tape. So I use this kind of stiffy lace. Again, this is also a bit more stiff. And it's more robust than this. Yeah, this is more like normal fabric, I'd say. But you can see the difference right here. And I'll use this lace for now. And now I'll bring out the big tape. And I already cut some pieces. And now we'll just put that onto the lace. And I'll press it down firmly so that the lace, or that the tape really covers the lace and is pressed down. So, and after that, we get our alcohol markers again. I figured out, 1 second, let me get a comparison. So I figured out that the darker colors work better for transferring the image onto the tape, especially when you have this flabby lace. Then you should use more darker colors than lighter colors. But you can see it here as well. The darker color is just, you can see that just better. You can see the image better. So that's why for this project, I won't use the tan skin because it's too light. But I also don't like the dark color, so I'll use the middle one. And again, what we're going to do is we just use the brush side and just paint all over the thing. And I'll use pressure on this one. Not so much that the tip breaks or the marker breaks, but you have to use a bit of pressure so that it really gets transferred. So again, that's it. Nothing else to it. Now you can just rip off the tape and you see the lace is fine. Nothing gets ripped off. And then here we have our picture. Again, I'll put that onto a white background so you can see it a bit better. So, and here we have it. That's how you get the texture from the lace onto your tape. And as I said, you can do it with almost every lace. The stiff one works a bit better than the wobbly one. But you don't have to use only lace. You can also use, maybe for example, fly sweat. The fly sweat sweats also have this this texture that you can transfer onto the tape when you just put it onto the fly sweat and then draw over it with the alcohol markers. Right, and that is the secret to this hack. So next we have the acetate substitute. And now I'll show you how we create this without the air bubbles inside. So again, we need a piece of tape, and I'll use the big one again. And just, sticks everywhere. Just put it onto your baking paper with the sticky side upwards. And then we'll use this spray bottle with water in it, and then we just moist it. After that, we need another tape. And now I'll turn this one so it's a bit easier for me. And now you have to be precise with it. So you'll take your tape and slowly put it onto your tape. So I'll just take care of the edge right here. So I ignore these two because the two tape pieces don't have the same length. I don't care about that. I'll just fix it later. I'll just cut the edges off. And you don't have to focus on the line right here, on the edge right here, because if the upper edge, line, border, whatever, is directly put onto this one, then the border right here or the edge right here perfectly fits automatically, because the length, this length here and this length here is the same because of just how the tape is. And now we lower it carefully so that the edges match. And then we'll use a card and push out the water from the middle to the edges. And that's it. Now I get a towel and I dry this up. So there we have it, almost no air bubbles. And if you work really precisely, you can do this without any air bubbles. And the thing about this one here is that it gets this milky look because of the water, but I don't mind that. Because first, we craft junk journals. It doesn't have to be perfect. And second, I think this is a cool extra look. If you don't want this milky look or this frosty glass look, maybe just use normal acetate foil. But if you like that, then this is a perfect way if you don't have any acetate foil at home. So now the laminating substitute. Again, we just get ourselves a piece of large tape and put it onto the baking paper with the sticky side up. And then you use whatever you have. Normally I'd use dried flowers, but I don't have any right here right now. So I'll do a little starry golden sky. I have these metal flakes, and then here I have a few stars. And in the German tutorial, I also use this, 1 second, let me get that here. I use this thicker thicker materials, and you can use thicker materials, but you have to be careful with it that you put it into the middle, because when you put it to the side or too close to the edge, the tape doesn't close around it. And also the thing with, the thing with thicker materials is that you get an air bubble around it. I'll use this heart for now to show you what I mean. But first, I'll just put some metal flakes over it. And again, make sure that you leave a bit space to the edge, because the tape has to close around it. Oh yeah, it has to close at the edges. So after that, I'll just put on some stars, and it's not a problem when the base isn't sticky anymore, because we use another tape with the sticky side down, so it'll stick to the other piece of tape. Oh yeah, I'll just put them on here. And now for the heart, I'll just put that in the middle. And let me clean that up. So now, in the German video, I use water along the edges, like in the acetate substitute tutorial, but I won't do that with this one, because you get air bubbles anyway because of the 3D little stars. Everything that's 3D creates an air bubble around it. An air bubble. And so I won't care about that one in this tutorial. I'll just put it on because there isn't a lot of space left where air bubbles can create. So I don't care about that. So we'll do the same thing as in the acetate substitute tutorial, and we'll just put the tape over there. Again, I'll make sure that I line up the upper edge, and I'll pull that a bit so it's not wobbly. And then I'll put it over there. And you can use your card again and press it onto each other. Just make sure that everything is pressed together. And that's it. Here you have your laminating substitute. You can laminate everything you want with it. As I said, dried flowers, dried grasses, whatever you can find or whatever you want to laminate. And here you can see around the heart, you have these air bubbles and it's a bit crinkly. If you don't like that, I wouldn't recommend that you use thicker materials in this method. But you can see with the golden metal flakes, it's no problem at all. There is no air bubble around it. The stars have an air bubble around it because they're more 3D than the metal flakes. And this is how you can create, for example, bookmarks. Yeah, and you could also fill out everything with, for example, these golden metal flakes, and then just cut around it, and then you have a piece of tape that's just metal, for example. That would be another use. But yeah, this is the laminating substitute. Now we'll have a look at the image transfer, and this is how you get results like this. You can just use a magazine page or a laser print image, and then you can create these these picture tapes. The important thing with that is that it has to be a laser print or an offset printing. It cannot be an inkjet printing. Offset printing is the method they normally use with magazines, and yeah, laser printing works as well. You can make sure that it's one of these two methods while look, or when looking at your paper. If it's a bit shiny, then it's offset printing or laser printing. If it isn't shiny, for example, like this isn't shiny, then it's not laser printing or offset printing, and you can't transfer the picture with this kind of printing method. This right here, you can see it has the shiny touch. This is offset or laser printing, and with this one you can transfer pictures. So what we're going to do, we'll use our images we want to transfer, and the important thing is everything with color gets transferred. So with this picture right here, you don't only have the symbol here inside, or the picture here inside, but you also get the blue color right here transferred. Here you only get the key, and the colored part you get transferred, and the white one won't get transferred. So you have to keep that in mind when you work with this method. So again, we just take a piece of tape, and I use this one with this. We just put it over there. And the same with this one. I just had to cut off a longer piece because the other one was too short. And now we need water. And we'll just take our tape pieces and we put it into the water. And then we let it soak for about 5 to 10 minutes. All right, so 5 minutes over. And now we'll take out our first piece. And we turn it around, and now we just pull off the paper. And I'll dip that into the water again, and now I'll just rub it off. Rest of the, you can see it, 1 second. You can see it right here. I'll just rub off the rest of the paper. So, and just like that, we have transferred our image onto the tape. The paper's gone. And of course, because of the water, it again gets this kind of milky look and it doesn't stick to its own. So you have to apply glue as well. And now I'll show you this one so that you can see, you can see the white part is gone. And with this one, you'll see the blue part around it will stay. Again, we just pull off the paper. And this isn't soaked long enough because you can see it's, you can see the color difference. So I'll put it down again into the water for a few more seconds. All right, so that should have done the trick. Once again, we take it out, and now we just, again, pull off the rest of the paper. So now we have our finished tape. As you can see, the blue stayed. Everything with color stays, or gets transferred. But this is the kind of way you can transfer magazine pages or, as I said, laser printing images onto your tape. So now let's have a look at the examples. What can we do with all of these different tapes we now have? So now here we have an unseen journal. I will present that to you in, I think, a few weeks. I don't know, we'll see. But the thing I want to show you is the page tab down here. I already said a few times now that I don't like plain or blank pages. I want a little something on every page, and that is a little something. You can just glue or tape down the tape and you have this cool little side effect. It's kind of an eye catcher. And if you, for example, like rip your page, you can also use that to fix your page. And it has this, yeah, this cool little vintage look on it. Because normally you do page tabs like this. Or wait, let me search for the other one. 1 second. Here, like this. You can use lace or whatever you want, but yeah, you can also use tape, and I think it brings or has a cool vintage touch to it. Then what you can also do is, this is kind of the second example, what you can do with the tapes, like this one, the flip pages. You can just use it to fixate a page in your signature, or to glue down, in that case, another page to your already soon in signature. And here I combined the old book page rip-off method with the alcohol markers, and I'll bring that a bit closer to you so you can see it has a cool effect as well. 1 second, let me get the normal book page. Here we have it. This is the normal book page rip-off tape, and you can see it's a lot whiter than the alcohol marker one is. And this also gives a bit more of a vintage touch. And yeah, you can just add new pages to your already soon in pages with this method. And then you have this little flip page. And then the last thing I want to show you is this washi tape. This is the texture tape we made with the lace, and I just stick that down here, and it kind of works like a washi tape. And now let me put that away so you don't see any more of this beautiful journal. So it's still a surprise when I do the flip through with it. Because now we come to the tutorial, to the flip-flop. I call it the flip-flop tutorial. This is the result we have by the end of the tutorial. You can just flip-flop everything, and you have more writing space, and you can play with it. So let me show you how that works. So what you'll need is 3 images, or whatever you want to use, tags, you can use whatever. It just has to be 3 pieces. I guess you can also do it with 4 or more, but I'll show you the one with 3 pieces. So you'll align them like kind of in this zigzag form. 1 second, let me bring you a bit closer. I think the quality won't be so good when I do that, but you can see more. All right, so here we have it. You'll align them, as I said, in a zigzag kind of way, and you have to be careful with your images you want to keep. So they won't be like overglued permanently. You can still see the other side, but I, for example, wouldn't want to cut off the image from this man here. So I'll put that on here, and this one I'll put like so. And now we need our tape. You can use this one as well, or the other one, or whatever kind of tape you crafted, but I'll use this one because this sticks and I don't have to use glue, so it's a bit easier for me. So what we're going to do is we'll take a piece of our tape, and it has to be the length that is overlapping with the picture beyond it, under it, under it. So we'll go from the bottom here to from this picture to the top of this picture, and this works fine. And then we'll turn it around. We just flip it to the right. And then I'll stick that piece of tape down in the left upper corner. And now what I'm going to do is I'll use my finger to pull that up so it doesn't stick directly to the other picture. And then if it wants to, I'll align it where I want to have it. And you see, you can maneuver it. And I want to have it kind of like here. And then I make sure that the tape only sticks to the picture and not to the page. And I'll put that down. And that's our first flap. Now I destroyed my picture because of my fingernail. Oh, it's okay. It's vintage. It's junk journal. So now we have this flap. And now we want that flap. So again, we'll take our tape and make sure that we don't cover any images we don't want to cover. And then put it in the upper right corner this time. Again, I'll pull the stick side up and align. And then, no, it's just too much to the right. I want it like so. And pull down. And now we have a flip and a flap. And now we need another flap. A flip, flop, flop, or flip, flop, flip, whatever. So we have this card left. And we'll stick this card completely onto the page. So no upper right corner, just the whole thing. And you can see my tape is a bit too short, but that doesn't matter. Again, hold it up, align it wherever you want to have it. You can also put it in the middle or wherever you want to. Yeah, let's do that. We'll put it into the middle. And then again, just press it down. Yeah, you see it was in the middle. But I can get it off. So, like this. And then we have our flip, flop, flip. And more space to write something down in your journal. And that's basically just it. And that's how you also do the normal flip pages. You just glue the tape half onto the picture or the page you want to add and the page you already have. And now for the last example, we have the window. And the window example is where the acetate film comes in handy. I cut out window parts. Like everything that was blue is now overglued with acetate foil substitute. And I left that out so you can see the difference. Here we have the shiny effect, so it kind of almost looks like glass, and here we don't. And you don't only have to use windows for it. You can also use this magnifying glass. You can glass the magnifying glass. And here's a magnifying glass I didn't use the substitute on. You can see the difference. It just adds a cool effect to your journal with not a lot of work for it. And you can play with it. It shines, it doesn't, it shines. So yeah, this is my last example for how to use your different kind of tape creations. And you can be creative with it and just, bring a cool touch into your journal. So now for the last part, we have the bonus, the storage. How can we store all of our different tapes we just made? And I already shown you the secret. It's this one. It's of course baking paper, because as I said, you can rip off the tape easily or not. And it still sticks. And I did a sign. So a sign is a small book made of only one single sheet of paper. And I will show you how to do that right now. And I think a sign is pretty common. So if you already know what a sign is and you don't want to watch till the end, then I wish you all the best and a very nice day, and take care of yourself. But if you don't know how to do a sign, this single sheet mini book, then stay tuned. We'll have a look at it now. As I said, we need a sheet of baking paper, and you put the long side towards you, and then you just fold it up in half. And then make sure that the edges align. And you can use a bone folder or whatever you have to press it down. But I just use my fingernails. And now we have it like this, and we turn it 180 degree. I think it's called degree, isn't it? And so now the long side is right next to us, pointing to the side. And again, we just flip it up in half. Make sure the edges align, and then again. And again. Fold it in half again. So now what we did, we took the long side and folded up twice. Now, let's unwrap it. And now you have the long side right next to you, to your side, pointing towards the side, and the short side is pointing toward you. And now what we're going to do is we flip up the short side to the other short side, again in half. Align it and press it down. Now we need scissors, and we'll cut from the closed part. This is the open one. This one here is closed. We cut here in the middle to the middle part. So the closed edge, and we just cut right to the middle. And that's it. We don't cut till here, just until the middle. And then we unfold it again. We turn it around. So the short side is pointing towards us. Now we just flip the whole thing. And then we turn it again so that the long side is pointing towards us. And then we hold it here in the middle and pull it up. So now it looks like this. And now we just push it together. So we have these two flaps. And these two flaps, we just take them and align them with the middle part here. And I lay it down, make sure that everything is pushed down again. And then you can already see the book look. Just put that down, and there we go. This is your mini book made of one single sheet of paper. and I'll turn that around so that the pocket has the opening towards the sky. And I'll use these kind of pockets for storing my non-sticky tape. You can also glue them together so it doesn't flop around like this, but I like to store my non-sticky paper in there. And then you can use your crafted tape and just store it in your mini book, in your zine. So now, for the last part of the video, a little summary. What did we craft? We crafted all the different kind of vintage tapes right here, the alternative for when you don't have alcohol markers. Then we crafted the texture tape, where we transfer, for example, a lace onto the tape. Then we crafted the acetate substitute, and we crafted, or I've shown you the laminating substitute. Then we have the image transfer onto the tape. And what we can do with this, you can do page tabs, for example, something like this, just put it around the edge of a paper. Then we did the flip flap tutorial, this one right here. And then we have the window, or yeah, the milky glass substitute. And as a bonus, how you can keep all your different tapes. And this was it for today, guys. I hope you liked it, and I hope you learned a few new tricks. Please let me know in the comment which hack was your favorite one, which hack do you want to recraft, or which hack do you like the best. And then take care of yourself. Maybe grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, or something cool to drink, and be happy. Have a nice day. Till next time. Bye bye.